Hi, I'm Big River's program director, Mike Flynn, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how our half and full marathon training team training plan spreadsheets work. So when you open up the document, you'll see this first tab, which is Sunday long runs. And then there's additional tabs for weekday workouts. And in the case of the fall season, we have tabs for the St. Jude Memphis Marathon weekend events. Starting with the Sunday long run tabs. So you'll see which of the weeks we're in, what that actual calendar date is, and then you'll see the location that we're running at. And these are hyperlinks. So, for example, if you click on this one, you will actually open up and see a route description, which shows a map of our run around Forest Park, gives you a bit of an elevation profile, a little bit of parking information, bathroom, water fountain information. In this case, there's some maps of Forest Park showing where to park. Mileage recommendations for the different distances, whether you're training for a half or a full marathon. A route link that you can click on, which would let you sync this over to your Garmin. And then often we have a verbal description of at least parts of the route or information on how to add on or shorten distance. And so that's going to be available for every week on the training plan. There will be one of those hyperlinks that you can click on and you can see the whole season here in advance. So you'll see that our location changes each week. Our two goal races are down here in week 13, the Mo Cowbell half marathon and marathon, and then in week 15, the Great Ghost St. Louis Halloween half marathon. So those are our dates and locations. Then we have half marathon and marathon recommendations for mileage. And so we've got beginner mileage, intermediate mileage, and advanced mileage for both distances. And we have some descriptions down here of who might fall into which of those categories, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So read over those and choose which seems the most appropriate. Our basic run route each week that's in the route description is typically going to be somewhere between the beginner or the intermediate half marathon mileage. As we get later into the season, often it is the beginner half marathon mileage. Early in the season, some of our routes, such as our week one route, is more in line with the intermediate half marathon mileage. But it spells out in there that for people looking to run shorter, they can turn around. So 2 miles in, the beginner group would turn around and retrace their steps. And then if you want to add additional mileage, you would run that 6-ish mile base route and then add on more miles, depending on what your goal is for the week in terms of how many miles to run. Most of the weeks, it is a specific number. In some cases, there's a bit of a range to give you a little bit of flexibility with your training. Um, the run walk group follows the beginner half marathon mileage, although we do, upon request, have a run walk marathon training plan, which we can share through the V.02 coaching platform. So that's the general overview here. There are some notes later down when we get to week 10 about some of these, or week 9. There's some asterisks and other notations on the training plan for the marathoners about long runs. We'll talk more about that as we get later into the season. Um, but basically, the high level overview is we don't want to do three really, really taxing runs on 3 consecutive weekends and totally wear you out a few weeks prior to your race. So we are encouraging you to cap most of those runs in the 2.5 to 3 hour ballpark. But on week 11, sorry, week 10 to go ahead and actually do the full 18 miles or longer. But in weeks 9 and 11 to cap your run at 2.5 or 3 hours. So that's the Sunday tab. Athletico-physical therapy will be out there about half of the weeks throughout the season. So once we get that schedule finalized, that'll be notated in this Athletico column over here. And then sometimes there's going to be additional notes if a shoe brand or another vendor is going to be doing a product demo or something special one of those mornings. So then we go to the weekday workouts tab. And these are here for your reference. This is all free. We do, excuse me, we do offer some coaching packages that you can purchase to get more individualized coaching for training team. But these are a general framework for either beginner or intermediate workouts for the half marathon and marathon distance. And so what you'll see is each week there's an A workout and there's a B workout. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the document, there's a bit of a definition here. So A workouts are the primary workout, and you can do those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, assuming that your long run is on Sunday. Basically, we don't want you doing it the day before or the day after your long run. The B workouts are a secondary weekly workout for people who are running 5 or more days a week. And then they can be done on either Thursday or Friday, but should not be done on back-to-back days with the primary A workout. So if you do the A workout on Tuesday and you want to do the B workout on Thursday or Friday, great. If you do the A workout on Wednesday, though, your option for the B workout would be Friday because we want a day off between those two harder workouts. And then if you do the A workout on either Thursday or Friday, you wouldn't be doing the B workout. There's also a bit of an outline here showing if you're running 3 days per week, 4 days per week, 5 days per week, or 6 days a week, what your week should look like. So you're always going to have that long run. We're always encouraging you to do at least one midweek workout. And then there's some combination of easy runs and potentially that B workout filling out the rest of your week. So you can use that to give some structure to your training, or you can purchase one of our coaching packages and a coach will write a plan and guide you through setting up your training. So we do have dates and then days of the week on here for those A's and B's for each week. Location, it's always on your own. And then you'll get some examples of what these workouts would be. And in the newsletter each week, there's going to be a document that you can click on that's going to give an explanation of what all this means. But this first week, all the groups have hill strides. So 10 to 15 WU, WU is shorthand for warm up. You're going to do a warm up. Then you're going to run some number of hill strides depending on which plan you're following. Strides are accelerations. They're not all out sprints. They're somewhere in the ballpark of 800-meter to mile pace, or progressive acceleration over the course of the time. So just progressively accelerating for 15 seconds, but never quite getting to maximum velocity. Um, and then doing a minute and 30 or a minute easy recovery, depending on which plan you're following, and then following that up with a cool down. So again, each week there will be a description in a Word document of here's what the shorthand for the workout means, and it provides additional information. Um, so those are all things to look at on the training plan. For the fall season, we do support and partner with the St. Jude Memphis Marathon and the St. Jude Heroes program. So the beginning of this training plan, the locations are all the same. For the half marathon and marathoners, though, these Memphis distances are going to vary from the first tab. And basically, what we're doing is, regardless of whether you're training for the half or the full, we're encouraging you to either run the Mo Cowbell half marathon or do a virtual race that weekend as a tune-up event. But the cowbell race is fun, so you might as well do the actual race and practice in a race environment. And then the marathoners continue to build from there to get up to marathon distance. The half marathoners get, a bit of post-race recovery and then re-engaging with their training to get ready for a second fall half marathon roughly 2 months later. And so after we wrap up our normal season in October, the locations are on your own for the Memphis crew. But we've got the distance recommendations there each week. And then they continue to receive weekday workouts all the way through week 22. And that document does contain descriptions for those as well.